What was the best moment you've seen where the real world hit a spoiled rich kid? Here's a switch. Highly successful local doctor, politician expects son to attend medical school and become doctor. Son opts out. Gets job with new company called Costco. Pumping gas. He's been with that company ever since. Just his regular pay raises and bonus checks give him a good life. He just didn't want the high-stress life his dad had. This is the exact opposite of the plot to Step Brothers. Well, Dale has always coasted off my accomplishments. I mean, he left college his junior year because he said he wanted to join the family business. But you're a medical doctor. Quote, believe me, I've told him that, but he just always says it's all about who you know. One of my college roommates was very rich growing up. I didn't realize just how rich until I had to explain to her what a coupon was in very extensive detail. On multiple occasions she bragged that she wasn't even interested in her major, philosophy, or college in general, but she was at uni because her parents were requiring her to get a degree. Any degree, in order to get access to her trust fund. I don't remember ever seeing her go to class, and she eventually got expelled sophomore year over academic dishonesty. I guess this was the last straw for her parents because they cut her off pretty soon after that. This actually served as a wake-up call. She somehow managed to get a public health degree at a different school in spite of the academic dishonesty listed on her transcript. She's doing pretty well for herself these days. We've kept in touch, and last we talked she was considering grad school. That's a nice wholesome ending. Local business owner puts son through college and more. When kid graduates with multiple degrees, dad decides to retire and turn over business to son. Son brings college cronies on board. Has management all wear white cowboy hats and drive white pickups. Begins revamping business. Dad comes out of retirement pronto. Gets rid of son and cronies. Years later bankrolls son's run for state rep. The son lost, dad dies and leaves business to daughter. Spoiled rich kid showed up to school in a $325,000 sports car. He was showing off, lost control of the car, and drove it through a brick wall and totaled it. Rich scummy injury lawyer's kid was in my class in HS. Goes to college, mid-sized school in the Midwest, and gets plastered drunk. Parents bought him and his friends alcohol since freshman year, so nothing new. And Ross says he has to write him up for alcohol in the dorms, punches 2 Ross. Then gets cops called on him and knocks a cop's tooth out. Long story short, his parents have to drive back 6 to 7 hours after one day to get him, and he's not even allowed to leave the state until his hearing. Last I heard, he's working at a fast food establishment. He might be rich, but he's fucking screwed since he punched the officer. Somewhat distant relatives spent all of his university years and 20s partying hard with the approximately 100 to 120K allowance his rich company-owning father gave him each year. He'd travel the world each year, going to Bali, Thailand, Europe, every year Oktoberfest, just rampaging. At 32 or so he decided to settle in upscale ski resort area of the US and open a business with his hot gold digger fiancée. When he went to transfer his money to his U.S. bank account, he noticed it only came to a few $1,000s. He angrily asked the bank worker why she hadn't transferred the entire amount, only to be told that that was the entire amount. His father had cut him off without saying anything, and he just hadn't noticed. Absolute flatline. And then, I need more. Absolute flatline, pretty sure he died, man. Heavy drugs, self-pity, and finally recovery with only a small side dish of enlightenment. While working in a casino here in Las Vegas, a herd of girls came to my window, and one proceeded to tell me about her great birthday party itinerary that her dad had paid for her 18th birthday, with no adult in the party. Just a bunch of teenaged girls. Out in Vegas. Where none of them could do anything because none of them were 21. I couldn't even check them into their reservation. They start yelling and screaming at me. I calmly call security, and security tells them they can either go play in the arcade or leave and try to find a hotel off the strip that will take them in without being 21. The anger turns to tears. The security guard is unmoved. That's their parents' fault. A stupid 18th birthday gift. People do it all the time, though. Lol. Really? I mean, I feel like any single person who has been to Vegas knows that it's kinda shit unless you are 21 plus with some cash to burn. Freshman year of college, the guy across the hall from me is a spoiled rich kid from a big southern city. Old money clearly coming out his ass. A couple weeks into the second semester, he and a buddy found a checkbook on the sidewalk. Stupid fuckers decided to write themselves a check and cash it in the bank that the account is in. The teller immediately called the cops and they both got arrested. We talked the night he got arrested and he laughed and said his dad would take care of it and everything would be fine. That weekend we met his dad as they moved everything out of the dorms since his dumbass got expelled. Guess daddy didn't take care of it. If he's not being charged with a felony, his dad pulled through. If he's still facing charges, his dad still bailed him out. His dad definitely took care of the situation. Well, if he's not in prison for bank fraud. About 10 years ago I was having a pint with a friend of mine. His family shit gold, I swear. I mentioned I was struggling with rent and bills while in college and he just said, "Get your mom to pay for it then, mate." Quote, "She's disabled and we've never had real money." He instantly realized what he said and did feel bad about it. I think it was the first time he really understood that not everyone has their parents to lean on financially. It's good that he realized so fast. Most people in that position are happy staying ignorant. In the country with high alcohol taxation, rich kids enter pub, like 10 to 12 of them. Throw card to bartender, demanding shots. "What would y'all like?" Quote, "Whatever lol. Dad is paying LMAO." Bartender pours double JW. Blues for all the brats and some randoms that they treated. Brat with card had tears in his eyes when the tab came in. "Dad's going to kill me. I did enjoy the free whiskey though." How much did daddy have to pay? Edit. I've never had more upvotes on a comment. I used to work at a fine dining restaurant. JW Blue was like $25 minus 30 a drink at the time. I quit there in 2012. So that's conservatively $250 around. You missed double, so $500 conservatively. I knew one who apparently couldn't fathom how people live on a budget. We used to hang out a lot at her insistence, but she liked to eat at expensive places, whereas I'd have no issue having my meals somewhere cheaper. However, she kept pouting and insisting I stay. I said I couldn't unless she wanted to spot me. She didn't. I then walked her through the math and showed her that the cost of my meals with her every day totaled my entire wage for the month. She didn't stop pouting, but from then on I could eat by myself in peace. Reminds me of a friend that we brought traveling Europe with another buddy. We had a strict budget and he did not. It almost ruined our friendship with him calling us cheap. We were like, "Dude, we literally can't afford to eat at the places you want to eat." He had absolutely no idea and thought it was just a choice on our end. Yeah man, why don't you just choose to have more money? There was a kid in my school class who was a trust fund baby and he acted like it. He was picking on people one day, just talking unnecessary shit, and he called a girl a cow. She was overweight. He then got punched by a special education kid in class. And then when he contemplated retaliating against the special education kid, he then got punched by another student who was not special needs. He did not contemplating punching him. My best moment was when I got hired by a pair of Woodside CA parents to transition their horrible 18-year-old into the realities of real life, something that evaded for both of them. My first action was to take away his Platinum Limitless credit cards. He threw a tantrum that lasted several days. Where am I going to get money? Get a job. My parents will fire you. They didn't. When he realized that boundaries and budgets had been set in stone, in that he not only had to pay the bills, the rent, but taxes too, he headed straight to college to wait out the next 4 years. He is still a little jerk, but at least he has a job and an education now. How does one get into this line of work? I was the nanny while working through my PhD, so I came to it indirectly. There is a whole workforce of folks who do this. Word of mouth and next door. Get paid to tell rich brats to grow up. Where do I sign?
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox.